Hello everybody, if you don't know my name is Tobacchi. We are back with an absolute heater. We are going to tell you all about my ex who was a stalker. She dated a PDF file. And then that exact same PDF file ended up being my manager at Wendy's. This all started on a beautiful night in 2024. I get a text from my buddy, and for the sake of this video, we're going to call him Bradley. I don't know why Bradley. It's just what popped to mind. But he calls me and he's like, "Hey, my stepsister's looking for someone to date. She's been trying to date a 30-year-old. And, I just wanted to date somebody more her own age, right?" And I'm like, you know what? Of course, I'm single. I've been single for quite a bit now. And, me being the freshman I was, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Now, this girl, for the sake of the video, we're going to name her Amada, right? And Amada was kind of a freak, to say the least. She was texting me right off rip, flirting, talking about nudes, like right off rip. Like, I don't know what was up with this girl, but she was just a WHORE. She was a whore. And I had no complaints about that at the time, to be completely honest. Like, we planned a date at the movie theaters for like 2 days after we started texting. And you know what we did in that movie theater? Like, damn near the second we realized nobody was there, we damn fucked in that movie theater. My first time was in a movie theater, okay? Because that was my first time. I was a freshman. Now, after this date, I will say I thought I was quite the gentleman. Like, we get outside the movie theater. I kiss her goodbye. She takes her car home because she was either 16 or 17 at the time. And, I was like a year or two younger than her. And she drove her ass home. I called my mom to pick me up, and my mom picked me up. And we went on many more dates like this. And we, on top of that, when she came over to my house, we did the dirty a couple times in my house. But, everything went pretty smoothly with her for about 8 months. At this 8-month period of time, she was deciding, I'm becoming an adult, I need to get a job. And that's exactly what she did. I had no problem with that. She got a job at Taco Bell, and she was working with my buddy. And for the sake of this video, I can't remember what I called him in another video, but his name's going to be Joseph. I'm hoping that's the name that I gave him in the last video, because, I just think it is. Anyway, my buddy Joseph, he starts texting me, and he starts calling me about all this weird shit she's saying, all the goofy shit she's doing, and all the, really weird stuff she's doing with her 37-year-old manager. Now, Joseph, he's a slightly bigger dude, and my thoughts at the time were, he's kind of done this thing in the past where he tried to get with pretty girls and it didn't work out, and then they tried to get my Snapchat and that wouldn't work out because obviously I'm not going to date a girl who's trying, or, my buddy was trying to get with. So I guess at the time I chalked it up to jealousy, which was a big mistake on my part because I just ignored a lot of red flags, and I ignored a good buddy of mine, somebody who's still a good buddy of mine to this day. I remember being, really, really depressed around this time as well. Just, I knew things weren't working out, and I knew he was probably right, and I didn't want to believe it. It was very ridiculous on my part. So anyway, one day I get home from school. She really, really does not want to hang out. And, she had work that day, but it wasn't until later. So I get a call later on, pretty much as soon as she gets into work. And it's my buddy Joseph, and he's talking about how she rode with her manager to work. They're calling each other their sneaky links, stuff like that, kind of actively flirting with each other at work, that kind of thing. And I really, really, really didn't fuck with that. So I start kind of texting her, going off about it, and she's basically going off to me about how, "Oh, I didn't fuck my manager, you're just crazy, you're a piece of shit, you're all these other things, I've been unhappy in this relationship for so long." And I'm like, so why bring up that you're unhappy in the relationship? That makes me think that you are trying to date this dude. And then, I don't know. She was just like, "Tell me if you're unhappy in this relationship or not. We should just end this." And, I was like, if that's what you want, it sounds like that's what you want. I know it's not what I want, but it's what you want. So, might as well end it. Which, to my discredit, is a very shitty thing to say to somebody you love. But at the same time, this dude was 37 and her manager, and she was 17 at the time. And I knew this, and that made me uncomfortable, and the things that my buddy was telling me. And then my cousin said he had also seen it whenever he walked into Taco Bell. And I don't know if this was like my friends trying to make me think things, or if it was like her actually doing things and just my friends being observant and looking out for me. That's besides the point, though. We break up that day. I'm very upset. I go off and I cut my hair, I dye it, like, I'm doing all this crazy shit, like, on my own, but it's, like, my own personal coping, and, like, the only person that's crazy towards is myself. Now, the real crazy thing that I did was actively keeping her at it, I would say, because Amada here, she would actively text me about how cute she thought her manager was, how she was hanging out with her manager. Like, she got to a point where she was telling me that she was fucking her manager. And, it was blatantly obvious. Like, I knew that shit. That shit was creepy and weird. And after we break up, I took a good month period where I'm just, like, really depressed, down in the dumps. But luckily, my cousin was going through some shit with my aunt where he got kicked out of the house and he started living with my mom. Like, a couple months prior to that, we were skateboarding all the time. And I get this final call at a skate park. We were skating a lot. We were going to the skate park a lot. And sure enough, it's Amada, and this is when I choose to block her, because she's just going off on me and going off on me and going off on me about something that Joseph had told her at work. She basically pissed Joseph off so much at work. She was like, that's why you fucked your manager, shit like that. And she just assumed that I told him that because he was my friend, which I didn't. So I was just like, I don't know what you're yelling at me about. I'm at the skate park. Goodbye. I hang up. She tries to call me again. I just block her number. I block her Discord. I block her Snapchat. I block everything. And little freshman me was naive to think that that was the end of it, because it seemed like it. For a good 3 months, that seemed like the end of it. That is until 3 months pass, and I see her in Kroger. And me being who I am, I kind of just apologized for being an asshole when I seen her. And it was mainly because she came up to me and tried talking to me first. She's like, oh, I like your hair, it looks good, shit like that. Kind of flattering me into, I don't know, complacency. But I was like, oh, thank you so much. And she said something like, oh, I'm the one who got you into that style, I remember. And I'm like, no, you didn't. But then she started telling me, like, almost immediately after we get over this conversation about how she got me into the way I look, and I'm like, no, you didn't. And we had a whole little argument about it, not even dating anymore at this point. But she's like, I never fucked my manager, right? And then she was kind of like trying to get my number and Snap and everything again, and I was just like, I'll add you back on Discord. How about that? I'll add you back on Discord, and I'll go about my day. Don't text me too much, because I don't like keeping exes added. Now, she sees our old texts on Discord, like, pretty much as soon as I get home, and she starts texting me about how it was all bullshit, and I kind of just agreed with her. And then I started talking to my cousin about it, and he's like, you shouldn't agree with that. You should just have her blocked. And I agreed with him, so I just blocked her again. And that was the end of me seeing her for a very long time. I want to say like a month or two. And then we moved like 30 minutes away. I'm still going to school in the town, but I really, really do not have to see her. I moved away by 30 minutes. And while I'm living 30 minutes away in a completely different town, I get this call. It's from a random number I've never seen before. It says possible spam. And I answer the phone, just being the person I am. Sometimes I answer random numbers, which is a major fault on my part. I need to stop doing that. But I answer this random number, and sure enough, whose voice do I hear? The same ex who fucked me over, cheated on me, was just being real weird to me. And this is the very beginning of where Amada starts, like, actually stalking me. Whenever I answer the phone, she starts talking about, oh, how have you been? How have you been? How have you been? And I'm kind of playing dumb. So I'm just like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? I'm not answering until you tell me who this is. Like, goofy stuff like that. Because I wanted to confirm who it was. You feel me? Like, I knew who it was subconsciously, but I wanted her to say it. So she's avoiding this question. And then she finally tells me, she's like, you're going to be mad if I tell you. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Just tell me. And she told me, and she starts talking about how she's been trying to get with a bunch of my friends, how she was trying to get with a bunch of my friends to get to me, which is a weird thing to admit to somebody, by the way. And then she said something that set me really off guard, something that was really off-putting to me. She's like, you look so much better now. Like, I want to get with you. I want to get with you so bad. Like, I miss you so much. And I was kind of like telling her off with that. I was like, at the time, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, well, you just told me about how your life's been going. Let me tell you about how my life's been going. And I told her about the move and how I've been just doing really good without her, because I wanted to make her feel bad. I don't know what it was. I just wanted her to feel like shit for the way she treated me. But then she starts talking about this manager shit again. She starts talking about how, oh, I didn't fuck my manager, you know that, right? And I'm like, yes, you did. Yes, you did. And then, funny enough, I get on TikTok, of all things, and you know whose profile pops up? Motherfucking hers. And then I see these, text messages where one of my friends had gotten her pregnant, and she, chose to abort the baby, or, the stress killed the baby or something. I can't remember exactly. But, she had that experience with my friend, and it kind of grossed me out. So I just text her that I'm blocking her again. Because me personally, I cannot handle a whore like that. I don't know. When you're spreading your legs for everybody and everyone, especially when you're spreading your legs for my friends to get to me, that's just not the method. After I block her, I get a call from, I shit you not, 5 different text now numbers. I assume they were text now numbers. Could have been friends, could have been something like that. But she calls me 5 separate times, calling me a piece of shit, just going off on me, being real rude, which is just something that she'd do whenever she got upset. She'd just get really, really extra fucking mean. And I don't know why that was, because I was always so nice to her. Something she liked to say was like, oh, you're my little golden retriever, I'm like a black cat. And that was, I don't know, it was just ridiculous, because I feel like everybody should be that, golden retriever, You should be considerate, kind. You're just a decent person in general. You should never have a reason to just be an asshole because you're upset. Essentially, I just block all these numbers, and then she adds my sister on Snapchat, calling my sister, trying to get my sister to let her talk to me. And I was not dealing with Amada's shit, alright? Now, she proceeded to do this a couple more times over many, many months, and I just kind of ignored it and blocked her each time. And for, an entire year, I thought that was the end of it. I started dating somebody, I dated them for an entire year, it went great. And, I was doing pretty alright. Me and that person break up, and you know what happens immediately? The second I just have single in my bio, the second that, oh my god, the second that I stopped posting who I was with at the time, she is right back on my fucking meat. Dude, I swear, she starts calling me on text now numbers, everything in the book, trying to add my Snapchat, which I just accepted for whatever reason, and then she starts texting me, and then I block her immediately, which is my fault for leading her on in that sense. I don't know, February was a rough month, because that was just in February. Now, stay tuned for future videos, because around that time I was also doing a lot of shrooms. But we'll save that for another video. But I basically block her and ignore her until she just stops. She stopped for a little bit. And until recently, I didn't really have to deal with her whatsoever. It was when I started dating my current girlfriend that things just blew up with her once again, because my current girlfriend's roommate used to be Amada's best friend. Now, the first day I hang out with my current girlfriend, it was kind of crazy because it was a double whammy of ex-girlfriends. Amada right here, she starts calling my girlfriend's roommates, my girlfriend's roommate, that's what it was, over and over and over and over again. And then whenever she finally gets an answer, she starts going off about how, oh, you're with Tobacco, and obviously she wasn't calling me Tobacco. She doesn't know about this YouTube channel, but she's like, you're with Tobacco, he's such a piece of shit. She's calling me all these names and just saying untrue shit. So I'm questioning how she even knows that I'm with them to begin with, unless she was in town and seen us driving around. Then she somehow had my location on top of having her old best friend's location, who also, I'm pretty sure, has her unadded, or at least doesn't have her on Life 360 anymore. So I don't understand the location tracking thing, or why she was even looking at it to begin with. but there was 5 of us in the car. My current girlfriend, her roommate, her roommate's friend, and then my buddy who was dating my girlfriend's roommate for a little bit. I kind of just stayed silent. I was sitting there in shock, kind of frozen that she even, like, knew where I was or what was going on. It kind of scared me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was just in shock. And everybody else is kind of just going off on her because she's a piece of shit. And from that point forward, Amada stayed blocked on every single one of my girlfriend and my girlfriend's friends' phones, as well as mine. However, she is still one of my buddy's stepsisters. And it's a different buddy now because her dad actually stopped dating my old buddy's mom and is now on to my new buddy's mom. So interesting. Interesting to know that her dad's also a homie hopper the way that she is. I'm just kidding about that. I actually do really love her dad. Her dad's actually a pretty great guy. I wouldn't call him a considerate guy or nothing like that, but he's a pretty nice guy to be around, I would say. And I've actually been around him relatively recently. Which that complicates things a little bit because the majority of my friends have her blocked because she's either been through them or knows people that have been with her, right? So the majority of my buddies and my girlfriend and everything else, they have her blocked. But like I said, you know, it just complicates things a little bit with him being her stepbrother because, you know, maybe there will be future stories on the Stalker X because, you know, she's just interesting. And not to mention, one of my buddies doesn't have her blocked just because the simple sense that he can't. I hope I never have to talk to her again, but if I do, there will be another video on it. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. And thank you for shopping at Walmart. Thank you for watching my video. Tabaki out.